Okay, I'm back again. It's actually just a moment later because I'm just doing these two videos back to back. It's still me with my grizzly beard, my hat, my little scarf here in my daughter's bedroom, and I'm teaching you how to edit wedding videos faster. There's 3 videos before this. If you haven't watched them, I recommend you go back and do, and then jump back in, and we're gonna get to how we synchronize footage for ceremonies and for speeches. So here in this example, we've got the ceremony footage. We've found all the footage. So there's 4 different clips from this wedding that cover the ceremony, and it looks like those clips, so it looks like the longest one is about 30 minutes long. And now I just easily want to sync all this footage so all the audio is exactly the same. Now you can order expensive programs to sync all your footage like Pluralize or have all different ways to do it. But luckily it's 2020 and now you can synchronize all your footage right here inside of Premiere Pro. It's super simple, and all you have to do is make sure that every single clip is on a different track. So if, for example, one card had 2 clips from the ceremony and those 2 clips were back to back in the timeline, so say this camera got turned off and then it got turned back on, so it's the same camera but it's a different clip, you just have to make sure that you bump that up onto a new track, otherwise this tip is not going to work. So again, all you have to remember is that every clip is on a different track. So I've got all my video clips on these tracks, and at my weddings we usually record the ceremony with at least 2 additional audio sources. So I'm going to go down into audio. I've got my Tascam Lav here in folder 1. Folder 1 is probably an H4n recorder, and I'm just going to look and listen to see which one of these, and I usually can tell because you can just see how long the clip is. So there you go. I just kind of click through and you can kind of see where people are talking generally if you just look specifically close on the timeline. If you kind of zoom in, you can tell, okay, they're talking here. Just listen for a second. Yeah, those sound like vows, so I'm gonna grab that, drop that down into my timeline, again on a new track. And then usually there's a lapel mic on the groom, so I'm gonna jump in there as well. So there I found the ceremony clip from the lapel mic as well, and I'm gonna drag that down and drop that on its own track. So again, make sure every clip or audio track is on its own track. And then all we're gonna do is we highlight all those clips. I'm gonna right click. This pop-up menu comes in. I'm gonna go to synchronize and hit that. Audio, and then we're gonna track it to first track. It doesn't really matter, hit okay. And then we're just gonna wait. This takes a bit of processing because it's gonna go through all the different wave folders, kind of create a pattern, then it's gonna line up all those moments. And hopefully, as long as all the sources of audio are pretty clean, everything is gonna be synchronized. I can't snap. And this is amazing because it used to take a long time either manually doing it, or you have to pay for a second-party software like Pluralize, which is amazing, by the way. But this way, you're not spending any extra money, and now you can synchronize all your footage in the snap of a finger. If I could only snap. All right, so once I'm done that, you can see that it all became instantly synchronized. So I have this one camera you see here where there were 2 clips. These 2 clips are on different tracks. Now that I'm gonna go into editing, I'm gonna drag every camera onto the same track. So this clip is from the same camera as this clip. So I'm just gonna bring that onto the same timeline, making sure I don't shift it at all so it's not out of sequence. And there we go, I have everything on its own timeline. I also have this track right here that should be down below, so I'm gonna bring that onto the same track as well. And now my ceremony will look something like this. And this is what I do to edit ceremonies, and this is crucial actually in my rough cut, and it's worth taking the time. So the first thing that I do is I find wherever the biggest stack is, wherever the largest amount of clips are stacked on top of each other, and I'm gonna go down through and just make small windows. You don't have to do this. I'm not saying that you have to do this, it's just what I like to do, and it makes things faster for me in the future. Sometimes you gotta take your time right now to be faster later. So I make this clip into 1/4 of the screen, by changing the scale to 25%. In this case, it was a 4K video. And then I'll go down to the clip below. I'm gonna make this also 1/4 of the screen. And I'll move it over to this side. And then I'm gonna make the bottom clip 1/4 of the screen by changing the size. And now I have all these cameras and I can see every single camera angle. Then all I have to do is hit Command C and then go down further on the timeline, highlight the other cameras that I want to do the same, that I want the same effect to be on. So Command C, and then I'm gonna hit Option V to paste that setting, and now I have this across the board. And then what I'm gonna do, and again, tedious, but this is wedding filmmaking, and there are so many beautiful moments that if you don't take your time, you'll miss, and that's gonna be the difference between you and the next wedding videographer who really delivers high impact, emotional wedding films. And so before I watch everything, I'll just quickly balance the audio. I click on the audio track that I want. In this case, it's the H4n track. That came through the cleanest on this particular wedding. It's not always that way, but in this wedding it was. I click on that. Now I'm gonna click on my audio tab. Then I click on dialogue. I'll click on the presets here. And then I just like to click on make close up. And then I'll go through and balance most of the dialogue so it all sounds fairly same and should all peak around -6 to -3 decibels. And so at this point, I just watched through the whole ceremony. It's half an hour. That's a bit of time, but you know what? It's well worth it because you're gonna be able to pick out the best camera angles here, as well as the very best moments that you might wanna use in your highlight film. So I'll watch through. As an example, I'm looking here. I'm watching this. And right now I'm really liking that bottom left shot, so I'm just kind of watching that until I see something else that I like even more. Oh, now I like this angle right here. So then I'm gonna cut the entire clip there, go back, and then I'm just gonna get rid of those two angles that I don't like, move back forward. Now I'm watching this. Oh, I guess that didn't last very long, so I'm not gonna use that shot. Instead, I'm gonna use this one down here below. And then I'm gonna make another cut. I go down into here. Now I'm just gonna get rid of the two video tracks I don't wanna see, so I want that bottom one, so I'm getting rid of these two top ones. So we're gonna watch the groom there for a little bit, and then just right here I see that someone's coming down the aisle, so again I'm gonna cut through here. I'm gonna get rid of those two video tracks I don't wanna see, and then I can see now I'm gonna wanna be on the flower girl here. I'm gonna watch her coming down, and then I'm gonna cut it there, and I'm gonna get rid of the other tracks I don't wanna see. And then I'm gonna go through my entire timeline and I'm gonna make these selections of what camera angle I like. There is, some would say, an easier way by making these all multi-camera sequences, and then you can kind of like a studio go camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 1, and you can kind of select in real time which angle you like the best. The reason why I like doing it this way is that I keep all my videos stacked on top of each other. And then if for some reason I decide I really didn't like that angle in the future, I can always go back and grab that other angle super quickly, and it keeps everything synchronized. And so that's how I do a ceremony. A half an hour ceremony might end up taking me about an hour to edit down to all the best camera angles. But then I've also listened to the vows, listened to the best parts of the ceremony, things that I find really beautiful. And when you find a moment that you really, really like, and you're like, that's actually gonna make it into the highlight film, what I'll do is I'll highlight that entire section, I'll right click, and then I'll label it. You guessed it, I label it, and then I'll label it rose, or whatever a nice pretty pink color is, which tells me, oh, this was a beautiful moment. So then, after I'm done my editing down of everything and organizing my ceremony and organizing my speeches, when I want to start my highlight film, I can go into my ceremony timeline here and I can look through, and any clip that I made pink, I can grab that clip, bring it over to the highlight sequence, and I have all the best audio moments for my highlight reel. Again, this might seem complicated or a little bit tedious, but by taking the time in the beginning, you're gonna make the best possible film in the end. You're gonna be way faster, and it's also gonna be easier to fix mistakes, because sometimes when you're just cutting things out and dropping things onto a highlight reel as fast as possible, not paying attention, you're gonna have a really messy timeline, and if there's anything you don't like, it takes a lot of time to go back and fix things. So I just do this one step at a time, and I also break down my edit into one moment at a time. So I'll go through and do the ceremony, which will take me an hour, then I'll get up, stretch, have a little walk, clear my mind, come back, do the speeches. And you just take things one piece at a time, and then you create yourself a really beautiful, stable project that's very organized so that you can rock out the highlight film. And then if you're into doing documentary edits as well, which is what I always deliver, which is a full-length version of the day, it's not as flashy or as highly cut as a highlight film, but it's the day sort of in chronological order with all the clips they might not have seen from the highlight film. The work's already done. All those sequences, you can just drop them all together, put some nice music on it, and then the documentary edit is basically already done. So that makes that super simple for you just by taking this time in the beginning. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, hit that unlike button. Hit it twice to show me how much you dislike it. And then if you have any questions about this process, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and I'll get in there, I'll answer your questions, and if anything, I'll do a follow-up video to clear up some points that may not have been so clear to you. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.